Oh, the never-ending riding around in vehicles, which I do. Been doing this since 1985. 1985 is when I came out of working in the automotive parts industry to living behind the wheel of a truck. And I tell you, that was such a challenging time for me because I went from being in such a social environment of interacting with others and people, and then I went to literally being in a truck all by myself, nobody to talk to. We didn't have cell phones back then. I didn't have a two-way radio truck because I was in a maintenance truck that was not that critical to the driving like a tanker truck. That was in the oil industry. So I started working in the fuel industry back in 1985 as a maintenance guy and doing odd jobs. And so I started driving all these roads that I'm on today. Never realized in 1985 that close to 40 years later, 38 years later, I'd be doing living behind the wheel of a car, which that's been my whole career, is being an outdoor sales guy for the most part, and living behind the wheel of a car, never realizing how many cars I'd own. By 1985, I probably at that point I had a Cuda, two Chevy trucks, there's 3, a Challenger 4, a piece of junk Datsun 5. So by 1985, I probably only have had, I would say, like 5 or 6 vehicles, maybe. But that's, but I didn't start driving it. When I started driving in, I guess, 1980, I think it was like 79. Yeah, it was 1980. So 5 years in, I probably had like, which is even to me, it's like, I already had like 5 vehicles. Well, when I say that, I had a Cuda, and I had a Chevy truck, and as far as what I bought, personally, so I would say then a Volkswagen GTI, that's 3, and then another Challenger's 4, and so I'd just like 4, no, Camaro, then a Camaro Z28, that's 5, I'd have to say 5, so I was already in a roll of owning 1 car a year. never ever at that age of life thinking, as time progressed, I'd end up doing what I'm doing today. I mean, that was never like in my thought process or my plans. Going back to the used car market and the new car, I should say more like the new car market. So if you go to cars.com, you can kind of start to see what's going to start to play out in the market. All you got to do is go and look at the inventory of what's going on with all these vehicles, and when they populate the product, it kind of then just kind of gives you a heads up of the Ford F-150. To me, that product Ford will have but no choice to start putting rebates on these F-150 trucks. There's no doubt in my mind. The Ram TRX, is that truck gonna hold really good value through 2023? Yep. Because they're not building them in mass production. People aren't abandoning them by mass, in the masses. So it's still a very sought after and not flooded market. The Ford F-450 truck, you can't even order in 2023. So the Ford F-450 with the cab, and I should say the dually bed, not the commercial style chassis truck, that will continue to hold incredible value because it's just not in the market. There's not enough in the market, so that'll be good. F-150 Lightning, I did like a 50-mile search. 44 were in the market, so still by no means flooded. Even though I'm witnessing at these Ford dealers, people aren't buying them. The one I ordered, that came in December. I tried to do a deal on that metallic gray or whatever they call it. Stone metallic car that I showed you last week. That's now going to be 30 plus days inventory. Because it sat all January. Came in like the last week of December, so that's already in the 40-day, 45-day inventory, and they have other ones sitting there. So that F-150 truck Lightning, I'd have to say that they're probably going to have to I think, it's incredible how so many people want it, but they're wanting premium price too. So here's the thing. they're wanting like $98,000 for that truck when I could have got it for like $80,000. So it's 18 grand overpriced. And so just think about that. So yeah, so the Ford Lightning truck, I think the problem right now with that is the dealers are still trying to get way too much money for them, and I think that day has passed. And it's because of people like me having a YouTube channel and people learning more about that it isn't what you really think it is, and to spend that type of money to get one, it just doesn't make it. I mean, in all sincereness, this Powerboost I got for 84 grand. And if I was a guy that had to pay 100 grand for the electric truck, 16 grand more, am I going to save $16,000 in fuel costs on having an electric truck or his Powerboost? I can't see it. I mean, well, if you kept it 5 years, yeah. But at the same time, do you? Because you have to pay for recharging. So no way. No, you'd never, it would not be, it's not going to be apples to apples. It's not going to work. Yeah, so you're just getting a battery-powered truck because you want a battery-powered truck. Yeah, just to be the Iceman, something different. Ford Mach-E GT, a lot of those are out of the market right now. And what's going on with those? I mean, why is the Ford Mustang Mach-E GT that a year ago to date, everyone that came in the dealer disappeared within a day or two time frame? Now to the point that Coons Baltimore Ford, they don't even want my Mach-E. They're like, we don't even want it. It wouldn't even matter if we give you money for it. We don't want the car. I mean, push comes to shove. To get a deal done, would they take it? Yeah, but they're more like, we don't really want it though. And same thing with Coons Ford. They don't want it. So, wow. What is going on? The race, it's incredible. A year ago, the race to get an electric vehicle by so many, but keep in mind, the $5 gas was here a year ago. $6 gas was here a year ago. And so is that the driving factor more than ever? That people were just on the page. I can still remember the media people going to the gas station and hanging out at the gas station, and a journalist would ask a person, and they'd be so mad they're paying $5 for gas, like, I'm going to buy an electric vehicle. I'm going to buy an electric vehicle. And it's kind of like, yeah, but what are you going to accomplish out of that? Well, I won't go to the gas station anymore. Okay. Well, then what does that mean? Well, I don't have to pay for anything to drive the car. That's what it means. And that's where it gets all confusing. Is no, you're still going to have to pay to charge the car. And when you're out in the field, I just got a notification from Electrify America that the 43 cent per kilowatt as of, I think, sometime this month in February is going to go to 48 cent a kilowatt. There's just no doubt in my mind. You fast forward 5 years from now, I sincerely believe that the 80 to 90 cent dollar kilowatt charge is where it's going to be. Yeah, you're going to spend, think about it. If you have a 100 kilowatt battery and you need to put 50 kilowatts in it, there's no doubt in my mind you're going to spend $50. And if you have a gasoline car, I guarantee you that if the fuel prices stay within reason, you're going to spend less money to fill up your gas car. Yes. There's no doubt in my mind that you're going to hear the stories down the road where people will be like, yeah, when I bought an electric car back in the good old days, it was cheaper per se to electrify and get off the road than a gas car. But now, no. It's as much or more than electric. They're already talking about how electric vehicles now borderline more than a gas car to power it. Yes. But I'm just saying, if you can go 2 miles on every kilowatt, you go 100 miles, and it costs you $50 to go 100 miles, but you got this vehicle here, let's just say it gets 20 miles to the gallon, and I got to put 5 gallons in at, let's just say $4, that's $20, right? So, for me, it's like, yeah, I just spent $30 less. Yeah, all right. They can just go to 70 cents a kilowatt. You can go to 50 cents a kilowatt. I'm still ahead on the ICE vehicle. Yep, I hear you. But what's really interesting here is all these big oil companies are making these record profits, and the investors aren't excited about really looking to the future of these oil companies to put their money into the investment of the future of the oil companies. And why is that? Yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons. I think number one, the green agenda is being pushed and raced to be complete in the fastest time in the history of this country and the world. And the oil companies are getting shamed, but at the same time, the barrel of oil is in the $70 range. So the record profits for the oil companies aren't going to be the record profits if this trend of the $70 barrel oil, do we get in the $60 barrel range? I mean, what happens? Yeah, I mean, so in that aspect, I don't think the oil companies should be posting record profits like they did this past year coming later in this year. And, you know, at some point, when electric vehicles really do start to circumvent the infrastructure of the gas station industry that sees a 20-30% drop of fuel use because of the electrification of vehicles, then what happens to the price of oil? Then how does the oil industry stay in business? Where you then got to stop the volume business drives everything. You got to go totally just to you sell fuel based on not so much the drive of the market, but the reality of staying in business in the market. And then, yeah, as a consumer like the ICE person, then pay $5 a gallon. Yeah, there's another variable that down the road they'll probably play out where the oil industry and gas stations have but no choice to charge premium price for fuel because they don't sell it by the volume anymore. And to be able to stay in business, they're going to have much bigger margins for their profits. Yeah, where's that conversation? Oh, yeah, the variables and everything else. I get it. The race. As I race around to take care of business, and I race around to get better fuel mileage. There's a Range Rover, Land Rover, Jaguar dealership here. Are they a Jaguar dealership here now? It's interesting because this here is Don Beyer Automotive Group. Don Beyer, who was a congressman or senator here that owns a bunch of flagship dealerships, and there you go. So did they become a Jag dealer? They did. So that dealership used to be down in the area. They got a lot of inventory. Yeah, but it's a very rich area. But they used to be down Alexandria City here in a much tighter area. They used to have the rooms. That's a brand new location they just built. And that location, they weren't a Jaguar dealer. So I guess they got the rights to be a Jaguar dealer. And now they're giving the other guys. I know a lot of these people work there. You go back now, like 4 years ago, I was buying the Jaguar. I was buying Land Rovers first, then I went to the Jaguar, and I developed relationships with a lot of good people at the Tyson's Land Rover, which that turns into a whole fiasco. It's just incredible. For me as an individual, I witness these stories of family wealth and money and what happens when select few people get the monies. And it's just incredible. And so the dominant Jaguar Land Rover dealership infrastructure in this area that I live is owned by the Bob Rosenthal organization. And Bob Rosenthal passed away here, I think, probably 2-3 years ago. But he let the reins of the company be turned over to his grandsons. So Bob Rosenthal, probably 4 years ago, 5 years ago, the grandsons were given the reins to run the Rosenthal Automotive Group, which is more than Range Rover. It's other automotive manufacturers as well. And from my understanding, the grandsons live in L.A. They're like the Hollywood movie type of kids or guys, gals that are more entertained and trying to make their monies in the Hollywood atmosphere. So they remotely run these Rosenthal organization dealerships. and they had a major falling out with one of Bob Rosenthal's like personal friend and long-term partner, where the grandsons kicked out the partner, and it turned into a war. And then it's a war that the partner stole millions from Bob Rosenthal. But the irony to all this is that one of the locations that the partner is part of, he owns all the land. And so, but when the kids came in, when the grandkids came into this Rosenthal organization, Land Rover Jaguar, I witnessed how they just destroyed the whole dealership, where all the key people began to leave because they were micromanaging the dealership. It turned into, you had to, when you showed up to work, you had to fingerprint in. When you wanted to go to the bathroom, you had to fingerprint out. When you wanted to have lunch, you fingerprinted out. If you smoked a cigarette, you fingerprinted out. It was fingerprint in, fingerprint out, where they micromanage your hours and critique your hours all day long. And then they cut everybody's commissions down. And it was a total, just all the key people that made that location, Tyson's Corner, Range Rover, Land Rover, Jaguar, just a great operation of great people. It totally dismantled the whole infrastructure of the dealership. And so what I'm trying to say to you is, a lot of those people are now at that brand new dealership. But here's the real irony. This was classic. Where for me, here I'm dealing with all these, the Land Rover atmosphere is guys wearing suits, very polished, professional individuals. And this is classic. One day I'm at Panera, here where I live in Leesburg, Virginia, and here is these key personnel having lunch with the owner of Dulles Motor Cars, Leesburg Dodge. And I kind of walked in, I looked at everybody, and I'm thinking, what's going on here? Well, sure enough, they were meeting and grouping together to make it, to basically bring in new management in the dealership. Well, meanwhile, there's this gentleman named Tommy Omar that is the general manager of the dealership, and I've known him for years, and unbeknownst to me at that time, they're getting ready to circumvent him, where now the whole Rosenthal management and key individuals leave that dealership, and they now go work at a Dodge dealership. I'll never forget walking into the Leesburg Dodge, and I see now the polished Land Rover guys. I'm talking about guys that worked at these dealerships like 20 plus years. And I see them now working at a Dodge dealership. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You're telling me you just left the high polished, brand product to the Dodge brand, the Dodge customer base, when you guys were catering to the elitist, customer base? Yeah, people go buy Jaguars and Land Rovers. These typically aren't your low-level income, low-level personality people. You're dealing with very high-end professional individuals. And I'm like, these guys like, no way. There's no way this is going to last. Because you're now in a whole different business model dealing with a whole different demographic type of customer. And sure enough, they got in there, and a lot of people left Leesburg Dodge. Tommy Omar got kicked to the curb. He ended up having to go to Nissan, the Nissan dealership, which I'm going to tell you now, if I'm a GM of a multi-brand dealership and now I'm working at a Nissan dealership, I don't think that's a promotion. So meanwhile, I witnessed all these individuals, these personalities at this dealership, and you could just feel their underlying aggravation and borderline hate of the people they were dealing with now, because they're dealing with, in their eyes, a lower class clientele, and that didn't meet up to their credentials. They just resonated, reeked of it. Sure enough, that lasted about 6 months to a year, where they just totally dismantled the dealership, lost a lot of good people. The dealership totally went south in the business model. And sure enough, after about a good year, maybe some lasted there, maybe more than a year, but after that, kaput, they're all gone. Yeah. And for me, the irony to all this is I I was getting more into the Ford product and the Ford relationships, and I wasn't buying the Dodge brand as much, so I wasn't really relying on the relationships like I was prior. And this is all going on, but then that's kind of where I just kind of totally separated myself for the most part of the Ram, Dodge, Jeep brand, and I developed all relationships with Ford, and now it's come full circle where key individuals are now back at Leesburg Dodge, and they're actually turned that whole operation around, and it seemed to have their act together, and it seemed to have the right people doing things. These dealerships are so challenging to run dealerships. I mean, anybody here that's watched my channel, how do I know? Because I'm such a car addict, I get to know all these people. I get to see all the different personalities, and I get to witness on how many dealerships it's a revolving door. I mean, those type of dealerships, I'm like, nah, it's too much. The management doesn't have their act together, and I try to deal with businesses and dealerships where it's a much more stable environment. All right, I just like to talk. I like to share stories. That's all it is. And so that new Land Rover Jaguar dealership just sparked that thought that all those people that were at the Tysons are now, for the most part, all those people are at that location now, working there. And yeah, do I go step in that door? No way. Because I know what's going to happen. Yeah, what's going to happen? Oh, I need to get the new Land Rover Defender 90. Oh, I need to get... No, I had my day with all the Highline products, and no, I like my Ford products, my Dodge products. You know, I just am more in. I just don't really want all the... I'm not going to go for the status thing. And that's what it's all about. I mean, and it's not mocking anybody, but you go buy the Porsche, you go buy the Mercedes, you buy the Beamer, you buy these Highline cars. I mean, it's resonating. You're you're a very successful person. You know, you've done well for yourself. That's what it resonates. Nothing wrong with that. But I like my just the good old boy stuff. Is that what I like? All right, leave it then. Wowsker, look here. I'm gonna be at 900 miles. And think about that. I bought this truck a week ago today and drove it home a week ago Monday evening. So I'm going to be at 900 miles, and one more day in the truck, I'm at 1,000 miles, which means I have the chance to do my tow video. What vehicle do I, which trailer do I take? Yeah, that's the debate. What am I going to take? Right? Which vehicle? Which trailer? Which vehicles? I mean, so part of me is like, take the car hauler that can hold 4 motorcycles and haul some bikes down to Tennessee. I really want to haul down one of my cars, or rather my kid drive one of the cars down, which it's going to be the evening time, so I don't know. I don't know if I like that idea or not. That's kind of... Let's see if I may take the GT500 down. Do I do that? I don't know. So, but for me, what happens is when you do these trailer tows, boy, if you don't set up your trailer a good day before you leave, you'll regret that, because it just takes a lot of time and energy out of you to set them all up, move things around, blah, blah, blah. Then I got to set this truck up. I got to marry this truck up to the trailer, and yeah, da-da-da. Anyways, all right, well, been a good day, and I predicted what I predict, gallon on the truck, and we're under 20. Wow, under 20. And if I use this truck to tow, fuel mileage can go down the drain. So when will I really figure out I could be another week at least, I would have to say, to a few weeks before I really start to believe what the real deal is. Yeah, what's the real deal? I'm not seeing 23, so that'll be my ongoing conversations, is the Powerboost. Does it really see 23 miles per gallon? It's a great truck, though. I really do love the truck. So for the record, I love the truck. For the record, am I happy? Yeah, I'm happy, but at the same time, when somebody tells you something that influences you to do something, don't you feel like that something should have been what you were influenced to do? Yeah, it's so funny today. 50 truck come up down the road behind me. And I'm thinking, daughter can't be coming home yet. Well, duh. She's driving the Ford Mustang. Hello. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel. And I appreciate the support. And as usually, put a package in front of my gate. Where I got to get out of the truck to move the package. And I just, as a person, you don't put packages in front of gates. You don't do that. Oh my gosh. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. God bless. Stay safe. Stay tuned. And look for more conversations and adventures on Ice Age TV.